Hey guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day and making the most of the gift that we have, which is the present. Now today we're going to dive into the power of yoga and why this practice is so effective and something I highly recommend you bring into your daily routine. Here and now is where yoga begins. Your body exists in the past and your mind in the future. In yoga, they come together in the present. Now, yoga is largely practiced as a technique that is beginning to spread around the world more and more each and every day. Many cultures are seeing the benefits of practicing yoga and feel the power of mindfulness and meditation. Yoga is an ancient practice focusing on stillness, breathing, body awareness, flexibility, and strength to boost mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. It is composed of practices or disciplines that train the mind to be in control and present. The main components of yoga is breathing and postures, which are a series of movements designed to increase your overall strength and flexibility, but as well bringing you really in tune to the present. This is allowing the mind to be heightened with the connection between the mind, body, and soul. The practice is said to have originated thousands of years ago in India and has been adapted in many countries in a variety of ways. Yoga's origins can be traced to northern India, over 5,000 years ago. The word yoga was first mentioned in ancient sacred texts called the Rig Veda. The Vedas are a set of 4 ancient sacred texts written in Sanskrit. The Rig Veda is the earliest amongst the Vedas and is a collection of over 1,000 hymns and mantras in 10 chapters known as the mandalas. These were used by Vedic-age priests. Yoga was refined and developed by rishis, which are sages, who documented their practices and beliefs in the Upanishads, a huge work containing over 200 scriptures. Now, yoga is amongst the 6 schools of philosophy in Hinduism and is also a major part of Buddhism, and its meditation practices are widely known to enhance everything when it comes to the mind, body, and soul. Yoga is a mindfulness practice that helps you tune in to all your senses and be more connected or one with yourself and the universe. When you learn to tune into your vibrations to the right frequencies, everything begins to align itself and manifest in the direction you focus your energy on. The key is consistency and effort. Yoga, like anything else, takes practice, and sometimes more effort to really see those results. But starting small and working your way up is a great start to learning such a valuable tool and technique. And this is why they'll say you are going to your yoga practice, because you're always practicing, you're always maintaining. If you take a week off your practice, no matter what it is, you're going to know you felt like you take a step back. So this is one of those skills that you have to maintain your consistency and your practice in order to level up your skills, and as well get into more intense flows. Yoga was first introduced to myself when I was actually training for baseball in junior college when I was in Texas. Our head coach had a really strong belief that this would help our performance and also prevent injuries. I would actually agree, it was very true. And this started my initial desire to maintain this practice for the years to come. The biggest benefits I noticed was the overall physical improvements in the flexibility, mobility, and my stability. But mentally, I had better clarity, focus, and consciousness after each session. I felt very at ease, grounded, and really in tune with the moment. It helped so many aspects of my life, including my mental toughness, but as well my overall mood and emotional behavior, which had much more control, and I was very responsive to life instead of reactive. This helps uplift the body in so many ways, and you naturally feel better and happier from those endorphins that get released. No matter what situations would arise, I made smarter decisions and had more patience to think clearly for maximizing whatever opportunity was in front of me at that moment. Yoga helps me stay in the present, and that is key for athletic performances. It's also a part of life. You want to be as present as possible, or else you're not going to experience joy, happiness, and all the good virtues that everyone wants to attain. But when it comes to athletes, you also can't be fazed by certain things of challenges and adversity. And if you can stay in the moment, you're going to be more inclined to have better results and a focus that's more locked in to have success. Yoga for athletes is just another part of the routine that is needed to enhance all aspects of the body and mind. However, every person needs to be in tune with their body and mind. Now, athletes just put their body to the test more often, but this doesn't mean that each and every person should not be putting this into their daily routine. The wonders are amazing, and this is definitely needed for everyone, not just women and not just elderly people, which a lot of men unfortunately tend to think. More and more men are realizing the benefits of practicing yoga, and they're starting to embrace this Eastern philosophy while adding their own twist to the focus. I've taken part in power vinyasa classes where a male instructor led us through a very intense practice that connected core strength, stability, endurance, and mindfulness. It was possibly one of the hardest workouts I've ever done, but it was very rewarding as it feels like a breath of fresh air when you're done. Of course, I wouldn't recommend anyone just jump straight into an advanced yoga flow, but if you start with the basic poses and techniques and start with a shorter amount of time, build yourself up to whatever level you desire, and then you will see the benefits start to clue in. But either way, you got to give it a try. It's one of those practices, the first time you do it, you might feel funny, you might feel off, you might feel silly. Some people are not very in tune with taking things to heart and being serious about stuff. So it can feel like you're holding these interesting poses, but our body is just a channel of energy. So when you learn the reason for all those poses, a lot of it is, yes, to increase your flexibility or your mobility or stability, the physical aspects of the body that you need for your quality of movement. Because if you can't move, how is your quality of living going to be? Not that great. But as well, when you bring in the breathing aspects that control your autonomic system, which is connected to your heart rate, your blood pressure, and your overall mood and stress levels, if you're able to bring that more grounded and in tune with whatever you're trying to achieve in life, you're also going to be stress-free. You're going to be able to think more logically. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more joyful, but you're going to be more present. So that means you're going to soak up more of the experiences that you're leading yourself towards. Maybe that's with your family. Maybe that's with friends. That could be at work. It could be anywhere. But the connection it has to bring the right amount of mindfulness and the techniques all into one, it's one of the best practices that anyone can do. Now, majority of professional sports teams have actually brought in yoga for all their athletes to do at least a few times a week, if not every day, to really emphasize body awareness, mobility, that flexibility, and the mindfulness aspects. The more an athlete can be in the moment, the better. And the more an athlete can control their emotions and logic, the better they will perform. So yoga has been an excellent addition for myself and other elite athletes. And I hope you'll join in the movement too, because it's going to be something that will change your quality of living. I promise you that. One of the biggest benefits from yoga is the connection between the body and the breathing. Now, in athletics, you need to be able to manage your breathing and control your emotions in order to maximize your opportunities for that moment. Yoga helps teach you how to lower your heart rate and ease your mind in order to be more relaxed in the present. Since yoga teaches you control of your breath, it naturally helps release good hormones, endorphins, which will lower cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, and this helps you properly switch between your nervous systems, which is your sympathetic, fight or flight, or your parasympathetic, your rest and recovery. This is necessary for your optimal recovery time and making sure you are fully in tune or amped up, in the right direction to perform when the time is needed. So yoga has the ability to connect mind, body, and soul, because what it brings into the practice, when you start most yoga flows, you will start in some position that is very grounding, very bringing you into the moment, into the present. Could be a child's pose, could be laying prone all the way on your stomach or your back. However, the yoga teacher wants to be doing their vinyasa and their flow, they will be focusing on the level of skill and capacity of the class and the purpose of that flow. Some are very gentle and more easing into the movements. Some are intense workouts and you're doing handstands and headstands. So there's a lot of different aspects of poses you can bring in and what you're trying to achieve from the flow. But the biggest thing is you have to be very present when you're doing yoga. Because if you're trying to hold a pose on one leg and you're crisscrossing your arms around, and you have to do it maybe with one eye open and all these different things you can add in on a mat as well, which is soft, it's going to be hard for your balance to be in check if your mind is somewhere else. You have to be very focused on kind of looking at the ground at one spot, holding the belly button, as we kind of call it with clients, when you're trying to keep your balance. All these things are a way the practice uses techniques by holding a pose to be really in tune with your body awareness. The more you can be in tune with your body, the better you're going to perform that pose. The longer you can hold that pose, the more you start to feel in the present. When you can control your breathing and pair the breathing with your pose, the more your spirit and soul starts to feel one with that as well. Now you can add in different frequencies and sounds and music when you do yoga that are all going to be uplifting of your vibration, allowing the consciousness to feel a lot more in tune. But as well, the yoga flow is all about the keyword flow. From the beginning to the end, it should feel like a gradual start of bringing your breath and your awareness of your mind to the moment, and then slowly easing into reducing tension through the muscles, letting go of any stress that's being held in the neck, in the lower back, all the parts of the body that tend to hold on to stress. We do a lot of the poses that release all that tension, and using the breath work of really good inhales and a lot of swooshing exhales. All those are to release a lot of the endorphins and get rid of the cortisol and help your body start to be flowing in a better direction and getting some blood flow for a lot of good things. And as the practice warms up and you start to feel like you're getting a little sweat potentially, then you might go into a little bit more intricate poses that demand a little bit more focus. They also demand more elasticity. So you need to be warmed up for your body to even allow those muscles to stretch to that direction, or allow your muscles to fire for the proper stability to hold a pose. So there's so many amazing aspects when it comes to yoga, but this is more than just a flow, more than just a practice for exercise. What people need to understand is yoga is a way of living. When you live as a yogi would, you live joyfully, you live carefree, you live as if you're a child for your whole life. And understanding the principles of yoga, they know it is very important for you to be as present as possible and in control of your mind, body, and soul. So they've learned over thousands of years, and all these amazing teachers and gurus who have come around, that when you put yourself into certain positions, you can also channel energy to do different things in the body. So depending on what position you're in, you could potentially start healing or growing or helping things move in the right direction. So it's not just about the pose and what you're receiving in a physical aspect. It could actually align chakras in a different way, that when you do it with really good intent, it starts to heal inner aspects of the body at a cellular level. It's very cool, and you can check the science out. It's amazing. But one of the bigger aspects is learning how to breathe. Many people don't breathe properly. And I see this in a lot of clients, right? One of the first things we assess when working with any client is, can they breathe properly? Can they activate the right muscles in any of the primal movements, right? You got to be able to squat. You got to be able to do a lunge. How's your walking? So your gait. Can you do a row pattern? Can you do a push pattern? Can you hold a plank? All these movements are a part of functional movement and fitness. But as well, you need to know how to breathe, because if you don't know how to breathe properly, you're going to tire out faster. You're going to have less capacity for higher load or intensities because you're not getting the full breaths in your diaphragm. Many people don't breathe through their nose. Your nose is directly connected to your diaphragm. So if you properly use your breath, you can allow yourself to get the biggest amount of air in your lungs. And it has to be in through your nose. If you breathe through your mouth, it's going to be, one, dry out your mouth, which is bad for your dental hygiene. It can also start to lead to the things that are in your mouth from eating and all those things to start going towards the internal organs, which can cause other things to start happening. But as well, you get a nitric oxide boost from your nose. So this is why sometimes when you take a really good inhale through your nose, it almost feels like it gives you a little high, as we call it. And that's from what the body naturally does. And your nose also filters out different bacteria or pollens in the air so that you're getting cleaner air. So there's just so many more benefits of obviously breathing in through your nose. As well, if you become a mouth breather when you sleep, you're potentially leading yourself to sleep apnea, and something that can cause death one day if you don't attend to it. So breathing is one of the most important things we can do, right? If you stop breathing right now, you're going to be perishing pretty soon. So you need to know how to breathe properly. And as well, if you learn how to breathe consciously and control your breathing, you can learn how to do other aspects with the body. And this is what yoga is all about. There's different types of yoga that bring in holding one nostril closed and then breathing out through the other, and then switching with your hands to connect the left and right hemispheres of the brain. There's many cool practices in different forms of yoga. There's like hundreds, if not more, types of yoga. So it's about learning to do what's best for you and just keep trying different ones. But you have to start slow. You cannot just jump into handstands and standing on your head and holding crow poses and doing a lot of things that take a lot of strength, but as well a lot of conscious energy and core strength. That's not what yoga's about. That is just one aspect of building the body from a calisthenic point of view. But yoga is more about the mindfulness. It's about the way you're going to live and flow from that practice. That is the importance of yoga. And that's why it's so effective, because it teaches people how to be present. Whenever in your life you were enjoying something to the fullest, I guarantee you were completely present when you were doing that experience. So that means the times that you're having something great in your life going on and you're not present, you're missing the opportunity to be joyful, to be very pleasant, to be happy. And this is why people then down the road reflect back and say, oh man, I wish I would have did this more. I wish I would have went back and enjoyed it more. That regret can be a little bit downgrading of your vibration, and it's not a good thing to have, right? So bringing in yoga into your daily routine is going to be amazing for keeping you really present, so that every day, no matter what comes your way, you're way more aware of what's happening in your life and the signs that the universe is trying to show you. This is what happens when you become very conscious. Everything around you is a sign. Sometimes the person that you come into contact with for a conversation, all of a sudden you're speaking about something in your mind or to someone else, and for some reason you have a deep conversation about that topic that then gives you a more enlightening aspect or insight to that topic. The universe works in very mysterious ways. But when you become conscious, you're able to actually see why, and you can reflect and use meditation to step back and then apply that to your life. Because the universe wants you to grow. It wants us all to grow. It's always giving us the signs and the answers, but it's up to us to actually pay attention to it. So yoga is one of these practices that brings in meditation because it puts you in stillness. That's all meditation is, learning to be still. Yes, you might sit in a cross-legged position and you're aligning chakras for energy channeling. So you're in tune with how your natural electromagnetic field is functioning when you're in that cross-legged position. As well, you can naturally hold your hands in different mudras while you're in that position. So your chakras and your energy channels through your hands are going to put a lot of energy towards whatever you're trying to manifest. It could be you're wanting more intuition. It could be you're trying to be more open in your heart. It could be letting go of pain and suffering. There's so many different hand mudras for healing of the physical, but as well connecting and aligning with the chakra vibrational frequency. And this is something I'll talk about another day, but every chakra has a frequency. And this is why when people are meditating, depending on the frequency you choose to meditate to, you can completely change that chakra to be more open or to be more settled down. So it's something that's really cool. And I'll dive into chakras probably next week in my talk. But when it comes to yoga, it's about being present. It's about breathing. It's about having body awareness. It's about being very mindful of yourself. It's about feeling your feet on the ground, feeling the earth beneath you, feeling grounded. It's about feeling your breath and seeing how time feels completely different when you're changing your perspective of how you're looking at it. If your mind is ahead and you're worried about what's to come and you're creating anxiety in your life, well, you're going to be missing the things that are the steps that you could have done to succeed in order to create the outcome you're so anxious about, right? As well, if you're reflecting too much in the past and you have some regrets, or you have something that's holding you back and making you a little depressed, suppression equals depression. Okay, you cannot suppress your emotions, you cannot suppress trauma, you cannot suppress anything in your life, or else it will lead to a mental health issue. What you need to understand is yoga is going to bring all different mindfulness work into one. And this is why it's so effective, because you're controlling your heart rate, you're being able to control your stress hormones, you're able to be more present, to actually feel joy and happiness and feel very relaxed, at ease, like you're as light as a feather. You're able to detach from the rat race and the materialistic world and everything that's about work, 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 and whatever's going on around you. You feel like you can kind of go into your own little bubble and get back in tune with the natural time and clock of the universe. When we get sped up, this is when things feel out of place. Naturally, if you're sped up, you're going to probably be in fight or flight mode. So you're going to be very reactive when it comes to doing anything or making any decisions. When you're present, you can actually take a step back, logically think about something, not let emotions just happen because you're being compulsive to it or impulsive, and you're able to then control how you want to respond. This will completely change what you're about to create. We are the creators, right? So if you choose to respond to something, you are choosing to create an outcome that you want to desire. If you're reacting to something, then you're going to believe that everything was an accident happening in your life. But really, you created that. You just didn't realize your mind wasn't present enough for you to make the right decision. So yoga, bringing in body awareness, bringing in stress control, bringing in meditation and stillness within your mind, body, and soul, is going to allow you to have other things in your life actually turn out a lot better for you. Might be in your decision making for the slightest of things. Potentially, think of the scenario. You're coming up to a light. Light's green, you're getting closer, it turns orange. If you're in a more meditative state, you think logically, you say, I'm just going to slow down. There's no rush. 1 minute to try and be somewhere quicker is not worth it. Next thing you know, you see someone go through the intersection. If you would have went, there would have been an accident. Would you have been at fault? No. But because you're trying to be too fast in life, accidents can happen. Whereas you take the right approach and you focus on being more in control and seeing that I really have nowhere to rush to, because most of the time, if you ever see someone fly by you, you end up lining up with them at the next red light anyways. So what was the point of going so fast just to create more risk in your life for no reason? Calculated risk is great. You need growth. You need to step out of your comfort zone. But sometimes there's also stupidity. So there's little things, little situations that you don't know could arise in your day. And if you are more mindful, if you're more present, maybe you handle someone who's being negative or having anger and shooting it towards you, and you're able to deflect it much better. You're able to handle your emotions way better. And then your emotional intelligence is going to raise. Your maturity level as a person is going to change. How wise you are in life will change. You'll start having more common sense, which is not common, unfortunately. Everyone wants to be book smart, but if you can't apply what you learned, it means nothing. So this is why yoga is effective, because it's something that's a mindfulness practice that helps you to stay in the moment, helps you to be very present, helps you to make better decisions in life. But as well, it all brings in a better quality of movement. You're going to get more strength in your whole physical aspects. You're going to be really in tune with who you are as a person on the deep side, your spirit, your soul. If there's something that needs to come out, that needs to heal, that you need to really focus on, this meditation practice that you're putting into a movement will definitely heighten that aspect, and it will bring it to light. And if you keep sweeping it under the rug, every time you do a yoga practice, it's going to like pop in your mind, like, fix me. You need to work on this. which is good. That means your subconscious mind wants you to heal. If it wasn't telling you that, then maybe there's an unconscious aspect that's blocking. Sometimes people have blockages in their life and they don't know why. But usually it's because they try to tune out the voice and try to stay ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, for some people. I'd rather live by truth, because if you actually enlighten yourself and become conscious, it's a much better lifestyle for sure. A much better lifestyle than trying to live ignorant. As well, if you're ignorant, you can get yourself very hurt. And then life's going to be a bunch of reactions, never responding. So, yoga is very beneficial. So let's dive into the specific benefits, okay? You're improving your strength, your balance, your flexibility, your mobility. So those slow movements and the deep breathing increases your blood flow. It warms up muscles, while also certain poses are going to make you have to increase your strength, either your core strength, your upper body strength, your lower body from holding in potentially a squat position or a lunge position. There's a lot of things of strength and balance and coordination that, as you get older in life, are going to be very important for your quality of living. Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you can't move or do nothing, you're not going to even get to enjoy it. I used to have clients that, really neglected their body for many years. And now it's come to the point where they need help because their quality of movement's so bad, they can't go up and down stairs. They can't do things that they used to 10 years ago. So they come to us and they say, fix me. Well, it's not that easy. It's going to take a lot of hard work now, because just imagine 1 week of doing nothing is a month regression in whatever you've been working towards. So imagine years of it. Well, it's going to take some time. So typically we would ask those clients, hey, when you're not in sessions with us for our training and our specific things, you need to be going to yoga. You need to be going to different flows. You need to be going and working on those types of mindfulness work. You need to be going for walks and doing all that good stuff. Or else it's going to take even longer for you to improve. But a lot of it is training the mind, right? When it comes to a client in the gym, I have two types of clients. I have a client that needs me to motivate them and give them my energy to get them going, right? They're only there because they're paying for it. It's something that every time they see the payment coming out, they say, oh, I'm paying for this, I got to go to the gym. But intrinsically, they're not very motivated. Then I have other people who all I have to do is say what we got to do, and they're 15 minutes early, they're going to extra classes, they're very intrinsically motivated. However, they just fell off the wagon a little bit, and they need someone to guide them back so that it's as effective and as efficient as possible. Two ways, right? But the physical aspects of yoga are amazing. And I've seen people who have terrible flexibility, really bad, improve significantly by doing yoga for at least 6 months, consistently, at least minimum 2 to 3 times a week, minimum. If you can do it every day for at least a 10 to 15 minute flow, you'd be surprised. For me, in my routine, I do yoga every rise. Either I start with a meditation and I do yoga, or I do my yoga and then I do my meditation. Either or, that is a no doubter in my routine. It has to happen because I'm doing so much sports. I play volleyball, I play baseball, I do cycling, I work out. There's so many things I'm involved with. I have to keep my body as limber as possible. If I don't, I'm putting myself closer towards an injury. So that is why I focus on it, because I've seen it in my athletic career, the benefits from the physical, okay? Now, moving on from just those aspects, now if you're going to be a lot more flexible and you're going to have more core strength, well, this is going to improve your lower back pain issue, right? There's quite a few people who have lower back issues or neck issues, and that is usually stemming from being stuck in a position for too long. Maybe sitting at a desk, potentially sitting at a lazy boy, depending on the age, right? Doing a repetitive motion over and over and over, bending over and not using your legs when you pick something up, the hips being out of alignment, and there's dysfunction or improper movements through the hips. So when they go for walks, they're using one side more than the other, and all those things create compensations. So it's going to create lower back pain. As well, neck pain, because at the top of the chain, the bottom of the chain, it's all going to be connected. So if you have one, usually the other one starts. So yoga is a good basic stretching aspect for easing pain and improving mobility in people with lower back pain. And this actually comes from the American College of Physicians, who recommend yoga as a first-line treatment for chronic low back pain, just because it does so many smooth, soft, and gentle movements that start to really get things to go back to where they need to be, but as well, just reducing a lot of tension. Lower back pain is usually from a tilt in the pelvis and then a shift in the pelvis. And then a lot of people as well, they're sleeping incorrectly. Either they're sleeping wrong on their stomach. If they're sleeping on their side, they're on too soft of a bed. They don't put something between their legs. Their pillow's not meant for them. There's a lot of things that can create lower back pain. But because of the flexibility and the mobility that come in, and then the strengthening of all the joints and the control that you have to have, it gets rid of lower back pain. Okay, so this could prevent you from spending $50 every week or every 2 weeks to go to the chiropractor. They're there to fix an issue and then teach you how to then go maintain it so you don't have to go back to them. However, if you keep doing the same things over and over, you're going to keep going back and paying for that treatment. And a lot of them won't tell you anything different because they want you to keep coming back, right? There is a lot of chiropractors out there who are very intelligent, very smart, and want to help you and hope that you never have to come back. Okay, but there's also some that will give you a few adjustments and say, see you in 2 weeks, and then they'll put you on a plan to see you every 2 weeks. It's a business. Now, as well, because you're getting better blood flow, because you're getting movement, you're also going to ease arthritis symptoms. Not going to get rid of it, but you're going to ease the symptoms. Gentle yoga is best and has been shown to ease some of those discomforting things from tender, swollen joints. And according to the Johns Hopkins, it actually reviewed 11 recent studies that yoga was able to reduce the symptoms from arthritis. Okay, so a lot of these things are studied. It's proven. They see the benefits of practicing this flow, and it's something that everyone should be putting into their routine. I can't reiterate it enough. There's so many things that I'm going to go through. It helps that by the time I'm done, I hope you're going to do a flow at the end of this. Now, number 4 is it helps your heart health. Regular yoga practice actually reduces the levels of stress, right? So that's going to decrease that body-wide inflammation, which then is going to contribute to healthier hearts. Several of the factors contributing to heart disease include high blood pressure and excess weight. All of these can be addressed through really good yoga. So naturally, you're going to lower your blood pressure because you're doing breath work that slows down your heart rate. When you slow down your heart rate, your blood pressure drops. Now, of course, your nutrition, your overall diet is going to play into your blood pressure for sure. And not just salt. Sugar does come into play for high blood pressure. Understand that. Some people who have high blood pressure, you're also on the brink of diabetes. Remember that. So if you want to lose weight, right, you need to be burning more calories than you're consuming. But also you need to be making sure you're not in too much of a deficit that you're starving your body, that your body then wants to store fat. So that's a whole other aspect of nutrition. But when you're doing yoga, you're going to burn calories. Not only are you doing things that are pretty much a workout, but you're also decreasing your stress hormones. Stress hormones are what get you to hold on to body fat, right? If you're in stress, it's going to change how you eat, it's going to change your mood, but it's also going to change how your body functions and wants to store fat. Because if there's stress, wherever the stress is coming from, it thinks it's getting ready to deal with war, fighting, some type of survival mode, right? And it actually starts to store more body fat. So if you can decrease stress levels while getting your workout, while you're lowering your blood pressure and other things, this is all going to be very beneficial for losing weight and then keeping your heart very healthy. Burning off that visceral fat, which is the stuff that goes around your organs and your heart, the deep fat that is very hard to burn. So this is one of the biggest things, is your heart is the most important organ, I would say, other than like your liver. Everything's important, of course. Without anything, there could be an issue. But the heart is also a big aspect in our electromagnetic field. Your heart has way more to do with the energy fields that surround your body in terms of your intuition and what gives you your gut instincts as well. So your heart is very powerful. It's actually something that you make more decisions with more than your mind. It's mostly from your heart. Your mind steers the direction, but your heart is what makes very big decisions. So remember that. If your heart's not healthy, you're also not going to think smart. And as well, it's going to help relax the body so you have improved sleep and recovery. Now, this research does show that a consistent bedtime with a yoga routine will help you get in the right mindset to prepare your body to fall asleep and then stay asleep. Be able to get into those deep sleep cycles where you can hit delta and theta waves, right? And you can allow your physical body to properly repair. And then you're going to get deep rest where the mind actually gets to reset. So, because you're doing a routine that's putting you very in the present, it's calming your body down, it's reducing stress. As well, you add that in with some type of physical movement, you're naturally going to sleep better. Now, of course, you do need a consistent bedtime that's going to help you stay in that circadian rhythm so that you're naturally flowing with the sunrise and the sunset. So, yoga paired with that, very beneficial and is proven through research through testing people who did do some yoga, people who didn't, people who went to bed at the same time, people who didn't, and they still found that even if you didn't go to bed at the same time but you did yoga, it still helped you sleep better. If you can add that in with a consistent bedtime, then you're going to get the best benefits. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, of course, it's going to help manage your stress. So, the National Institutes of Health, scientific evidence shows that yoga supports stress management. Your mental health, that mindfulness, wants you to help you eat healthy. It's going to actually want to help you lose weight. And your sleep is going to increase in quality. So, if you decrease stress and you have better hormones being produced, you are naturally going to have easier and better mental health. You're going to be more mindful. So, you're going to be more in tune with having a loving nature and have kindness and compassion towards people. You're not going to have a mood that's going to make you off-put or somewhat grumpy that could change who you really are as a person. There's some people I know, they're very kind and genuine people, but if you catch them in the wrong mood, they can be very nasty, right? So if you do the right things that keep you in a good mood, then you're always going to allow yourself to be the person you want to be and never have to be saying sorry to people or asking for forgiveness or just making ill decisions that you could have to then have some consequences for down the road. So mental health gets improved, your eating and your overall ability to want to eat better changes because your stress levels will change how you want to eat, will change your cravings. If you're more mindful about all these things, then you're also going to lose weight because stress is connected to gaining weight. And then if you can manage how you're dealing with the stress that comes from your work life, your relationships, whatever it may be, you're naturally going to be, again, a more mindful individual. So these are all connected to doing some form of yoga. Now, as well, number 7, it promotes better self-care because having consistent mindfulness towards your body, mind, and soul being in tune is helpful for creating a routine that's geared to positive self-care. Something I always would tell people, when you get on a plane, right, and they're going through the whole safety precautions, they always tell you if the oxygen drops in the cabin, put your mask on first, then help someone to your side. So if you yourself are not operating at 100%, but you're trying to help so many people around you, that's amazing. You have a good heart. I understand. But you're going to help people more if you are at 100%. Remember that. So you need to be doing the things in your life, in your routine, that are geared to positive self-care. You need to be talking to yourself with amazing and healthy positive thoughts. Your thoughts go into an energy field around you. This is why sometimes you can think something and someone else speaks it out loud. Where did that thought come from in their mind? Okay. The thoughts do travel. It's not just in your head. But as well, if you think better and you have more self-care and you're more mindful and you're more in the present, you're going to speak better. And words are powerful. They spell into manifestations. The words you speak change the actions of others around you, changes your actions. Then, if you have better actions, you're going to create better habits. And your habits then set a routine, and your routine is what makes your lifestyle. So if you take one thing like yoga and you put it into your routine, now that's also going to stem back to the root of how it's going to have better actions, which are more controlled and more aware and more conscious. You're going to speak better words to yourself and to others, but then as well, you're going to have more positive and healthy thoughts. So there's two ways to the street on this, right? You can bring something into your routine that helps your thoughts, But as well, you can change your thoughts to then make a better routine. It goes two ways. But you need really good self-care if you want to live your best life. If you're not taking care of yourself, then clearly it's going to get to a point where you're going to ask for help, either in the physical, the mental, or spiritually. So this is going to promote you to be very mindful, to be more in tune with your body, to feel your pains and aches and know when you need to take it down a notch, when you need to do more stretching, when you need to go for a walk or go do a little bit more intense exercise. It's going to make you have a better connection with all of your bodies, right? And that is very important, that you are in tune. My girlfriend always says one of the biggest things females have an issue with is being in tune with their cycle. Okay, she's very intelligent about these things. This is why we connect so well. But one of many things we connect well on. And the things I've learned from her, being on the female side, is there's so much more to their bodies that they need to be in tune with. And if they don't take very good self-care of themselves, it can cause a lot of issues with hormones, which changes mood, and all these things start being a butterfly effect. So that's just an example on the females. Us men, we actually have it a little bit easy, guys. Okay? Females have a pretty big challenge when it comes to their body. And this is why women tend to be more in yoga classes and more in tune with eating healthier and trying to do so many things, because they're the bringers of life. They understand their body is a vessel for so much. But as well, they just naturally want to know more about their body because there's things going on that are more intricate than the male body at times, all right? But in a big understanding, your self-care is going to change how your life plays out. If you're not taking care of your physical body, don't expect to go do anything that's going to take a lot of effort and capacity to go do those things. Don't expect to go hiking. Don't expect to go do things that take a lot of physical, capacity, as I mentioned. But as well, if you want to go challenge yourself mentally and your mind is very weak within certain things, you could be putting yourself into a situation where you're setting yourself up for failure. Because if you're failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail, okay? And then if your spiritual and your soul is not who it needs to be, and you can't express yourself honestly and be completely grounded and feel one with yourself, well, then there's going to be issues there too. So this is one of the practices that can get all those together and be a very good self-care, effective routine. Okay, so that is huge, very important. Take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others to the best that you'd like to. So remember that. Number 8, it also helps improve your mood and your emotions. Going back to the self-care, going to the stress, if you're getting better sleep, right? If you're eating healthier, if you feel better, if you have less pains and aches, well, then it's going to improve your mood because you're going to have an increased mental and physical energy. It's going to have a boost in alertness and that enthusiasm to go do things. You're going to want to jump out of bed. You're going to have fewer negative feelings after getting into a routine of practicing yoga, right? So your emotions are stemmed from energy that's putting into motion. So if you have negative energy within you, your emotions most likely are going to be negative. But if you have positive energy and you feel good and you're eating healthy, you like the image you're seeing in the mirror, you feel like you got a lot of energy just naturally because you're sleeping better and you're doing the things that keep your mind very in the present and slowed down and not getting overstimulated and having anxiety and depression and on, well, then your emotions are going to be positive. And that means you're going to have a better mood, okay? So all those things stem to a vibration. So this is why if you bring in meditation with yoga, you can start to change all these aspects. So of course, it's going to improve your mood. Of course, it's going to create better control because you're in the present more. So you have more control of your emotions. You're logical now when you see something happen. You're not reacting, you're responding. You see it, you understand it, you dissect it, you comprehend it, then you respond. And then you apply the emotion that needs to be. So it's not like being a robot and being stoic. It's just saying be logical, then apply the emotion, compared to the emotion controlling you, which is many reactive individuals on this planet. So, of course, mood and emotions improve, without a doubt. Number 9, it improves your neuromuscular body connections, which is your senses, okay? So when you do different poses and exercises at slower tempos in the flow, it connects the real versus the feel senses for your everyday living. So the more you do it, the better everything aligns, right? When it comes to something we say neuromuscular connections, when we're working with clients, when people are doing a squat, okay, we'll use this as an example, they feel like potentially they're going in a direction, leaning in a direction, or feel one leg pushing more than the other in something. But then from the outside view of what we see, it could be the complete opposite. So what they feel compared to what is real is two different things. And when you do more yoga flows, you bring that connection closer and closer to what you really do feel is actually what you really see. So that's really good because that's going to change if you're doing things properly when it comes to an exercise. It's also going to mean you're more in tune with your surroundings for when you're moving around, right? It's going to help you not bump into so many things. It's going to help you understand what you're doing and you're not going to stub your toes so many times. That's because you're having less neuromuscular control of where you are in your body senses. So that's helping your quality of movement. But having those connections in your senses, right, all be more in tune, it's going to help you live a smarter and more rational, logical life. Just all things to make you a more intelligent being in more than just how many books can you put in your head, right? Knowledge is great. Knowledge is powerful. But if the ego grows from knowledge, you then become very unwise. So wisdom is better than silver and gold, but wisdom is also better than knowledge. You have to learn how to apply all these things into your life. But now you can see, of course, yoga is very effective in changing your lifestyle because it's going to change your routine. It's going to change the way you act, the way you speak, and the way you think. And if you're in control of your breath, you can control your blood pressure. If you can control your blood pressure, you're going to decrease the chance of a chronic disease. But as well, if you're eating more mindful now and you're more in tune with the present, you're going to put yourself in less risk of harm's way. And you're naturally going to reduce stress that's pushing you in a direction to have a more miserable life or something that's going to create reactions that then you're going to be upset with yourself that you made those choices. So yoga is a practice that brings meditation for stillness. It brings breath work for control and awareness of yourself, and as well bringing your stress levels down. It brings in the physical control. So you have to use mobility, flexibility, stability, and strength. And then it brings it all into one. So you can get it from potentially 15, 20 minutes of yoga a day, and you can be way more effective as a human being. You'll also be kinder. You'll be more enjoyable to be around. You'll be a pleasant person to be with because to do yoga, you have to let go of your ego. If you try to do yoga to try and show people how well you can do a handstand or how well you can do some poses, you're missing the complete point of yoga. The first part of yoga is surrendering from the ego. As soon as you can do that, then you actually start learning how to practice it properly. But it's all about being more present, right? In life, if you want to enjoy anything to the max, your experiences are actually enjoyed when you are present, when you are there, when your mind is there, experiencing it to the fullest. If you're anywhere else with your mind, potentially you could get hurt. Potentially you could miss out on something that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As well, when it comes to work and relationships, the more present you can be, the better each of those are going to transpire. So you need to find a way within your routine to find mindfulness practices that work for you. And something that brings many different things into one is yoga. And the beautiful thing is nowadays, you can Google or YouTube videos that are all guided practices for any level of people, right? Plus, there's many free apps that can walk you through many great routines. And actually, if you click my link on my profile to our website, I have an app that has yoga on there. Guided yoga from Flow, an amazing teacher, all different videos that you can go through for different levels. And he guides you and his wife through amazing practices. So no matter where you're starting in your practice, if you're a beginner or if you're advanced, there's something for you, right? But there's so many things out there. If this is what it calls to you, amazing. Download our app. But there's so much more than yoga. We teach meditation techniques. I give you meditation and mindfulness challenges, mental toughness challenges. I got full workouts geared from years of being a personal trainer that help you just build on so many aspects and all the phases and all the weeks you need to work through with the workouts. And as well, complete nutrition information and knowledge from scientists, doctors, and nutritionists, so that it's not even from my mouth. It's from the people who studied this for a living, right? So I get all the best research and I put it in this app so that you guys can get everything you need and more to be living the best life you possibly can. Because I just want to see people healthy, striving for their best life, but giving you guys the tools and the techniques, and as well bringing the right people to your, front door, as I put it, so that all you have to do is scroll and listen to some very intelligent people blow your mind on how to be a very conscious and healthy person. Now, like anything, you have to start small and work your way up. You're going to feel the benefits probably from one flow right away. It'll naturally make you feel more relaxed, maybe even more energetic from doing some type of a workout, but it is something you need to bring into your routine. So I hope this gave you some good insight on why you should be practicing yoga at least a few times a week, if not more. You got to maximize your body's capacities and your ability for your body and your mind to connect. Mindfulness practices are very helpful in stressful times in the world that we're going through, right? Things have changed because of the pandemic. Things have changed how, there's tension a lot in different aspects of the world. So there's a lot of different things going on that can bring unnecessary stress. But as well, cost of living's going up, inflation's changing, right? There's a lot of things that maybe you have to work harder, work more hours, adds more stress, okay? Plus, people could be in school, could be dealing with relationships. All these things can take a toll on your psyche. Life is stressful, but you can control and manage how you respond to it for better or worse. Yoga teaches you how to manage yourself better, and it always makes the most of any situation. You learn how to be a very controlled creator. You learn that people don't create your life, you do. No matter who that person is, that entity, whatever energy they're bringing towards you, whatever the challenge is, you have the choice to make the right decisions in those moments, in those crossroads, in order to keep you on the path that's taking you to your highest level. So yoga is a way of being, okay? It's a lifestyle. It's much more than just poses or exercises. It is a deep connection between your mind, body, and soul that uplifts your quality of living and boosts your complete health. Deeper health is definitely needed more than ever with all this daily stimulation and the things that our lifestyle is like these days. And if you can find just 15 to 30 minutes daily to unwind and release unwanted energy to induce positive mental and physical health, it is crucial for being at your best. And if anyone wants a coach to push your performance, don't hesitate to reach out, and we will do our best to level you guys up to make sure that mindset, but as well your overall health and well-being are just flowing at the highest potential for you. So you guys got to stay strong, stay healthy, stay consistent, stay in the moment as best as you can. Try and be present. I ask everyone, do something today that keeps you in the present. And then just keep developing yourself. I'll hopefully be on Wednesday next week. That's going to be the typical schedule. And I'm going to dive into some stuff about chakras and energy and really some cool information about all that, okay? Hope all the best. Have a beautiful day. Level up.